welcome to episode 117 of A Toy Kind of Mood. I'm your host for the evening, Bobby Bear. With me are two special guests, Chip and Adrian. Gentlemen, how are y'all?
I'm doing fantastic myself.
Good. Okay, so last minute, because honestly, none of the guys in the chat who on the show do Dungeons and Dragons. I haven't seen the movie yet. I'm really excited to see it, but I've been house sitting and couldn't watch it.
Right.
So I'm gonna kind of defer to y'all quite a bit for the Hasbro reveals. First, why don't y'all tell me a little bit about yourselves? Adrian, tell us a little bit about yourself, man.
I'm an avid D&D player. I've been running the game for over 30 years. Been playing since second edition of the game. Also, I am a game designer. Me and a couple of friends have been designing our own D20 system, like I think everybody else at this point. But I love Dungeons and Dragons. I live in New York City, so we have a large community, and I've been trying to get more teenagers into it. A lot more different people and different, sections of gaming into, the actual tabletop. So That's pretty much.
That's amazing. Chip, what about you, man?
Well, I'm actually live in Arkansas. I live about an hour from Memphis, and I played D&D. I actually can remember the day I started. It was on Thanksgiving, 1987. Friends called me over after the big feast. Family started leaving, like, you want to come over and play a game? We started on the red box. Many people who's probably watching this know what the red box is. And from there, I just kind of went over. I've played D&D from 87 till now. I've always been a gamer. I at least got a couple games going. I've DM'd. Now, I've never stepped into the realm of making my own games, but I've stepped out of playing different games. Now, as far as it goes, D&D has led me to my other hobby, which is medieval reenactment, where I actually go out and put armor on and do full contact sports. And that's what you see one of the shields behind me. And again, part of D&D is painting miniatures, and that's y'all caught me kind of painting miniatures tonight. So
fantastic. I'm
always down for a good game.
All right. Okay, so here's the thing. I've never done any of the D&D magic stuff. So I've tried doing the card games. I just couldn't. I did HeroClix for quite a bit. I actually liked that a lot. It was actually a lot of fun. So I'm assuming D&D would be a little bit more towards that than the magic side. But like, what is it about D&D for y'all that? I mean, obviously, like we all love what we love. But what is about D&D that keeps y'all coming back year after year, almost decade after decade?
Since I've been playing, it's been mostly. I'm an artist, so it's one of those connective tissues that come with your imagination. So it's the imagination. It's going around playing this imaginary game with your friends. Having this awesome time of just cowboys and Indians. You used to do it as a kid. All of us did it, and from there, it just it feeds into if you're an artist or you're a visual person. That use of the imagination. So that's pretty much been the key for me for playing and DMing. You get a chance to do your own movie with actors that will change the script on you on the fly. And if you're fast enough, you're able to go with them at the same time.
All right. Chip, what about you, bud?
Man, it's the camaraderie and the friendship when we sit around a table. That's what it is. It's that me or somebody else telling a story and friends working together to solve problems, defeat monsters, and it's the growth that you get because, so we hear one shots all the time, which is one games, but it's those long campaigns and you grow together as friends and you do things together. And it becomes more than just sitting around the table. It becomes holidays, going to movies, you go to weddings, you become best men. And it's that one thing you share, and it's that love for adventure.
Right. I agree with Chip. I mean, my closest friends have been running the game since I started. I started in 92. So I was coming out of high school into college, and a friend of mine at the time had like had like a Super Nintendo at the time, and he was like, it first came out. He was like, "Come to my house." You go to the guy's house, and you see all these Dungeons and Dragons pictures, all the old fantasy graphics on the wall, and you're like, you get absorbed into it because you don't know what it is at first, and then when you get invited to the game, you have all these other guys that have been playing, and you get introduced to that whole group, and from there you just start developing. You get caught up in the laughs, the friendship, and you end up having 30 years of playing this amazing game.
Now, what's the longest campaign y'all have both been on?
Go ahead, Chip.
Man, most of us had ADHD. About a year to a year and a half is probably the longest we've ever been on. Now, with the same characters,
Okay.
we've always tried to do longer, but again, trying to get a group of friends to stay and with other, as we've gotten older, there's other commitments, there's children, there's work, there's everything else. And it comes together and then it falls apart. But during the pandemic, now, if we say group, what's the longest group you've been with? I'm looking at 12, 13 years, with the same group.
My longest camp. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I apologize. Go.
No. I mean, in terms of campaigns, they can last a long time. So my current campaign, I started in 2014, and we're still running it. I finished a couple campaigns through the long years. But Chip is completely right. People fall off. People jump back on. You don't know how it's the game when you get together. And everyone's on, and you're doing every Saturday, when I first started, I was doing every weekend, and it's hours. So we get in at 1:00 in the afternoon, and you're not finishing till 3:00 in the morning because you're so absorbed into that game. And if you have a great DM, again, it's the imagination. It's the same thing when we had our action figures with as toys. I remember playing for hours with my Superpowers action figures, doing the same imaginative action, but it was just by myself. Now you have all these other guys and women. When we first started, it wasn't a very open to the ladies. I think the later version of the game has brought the ladies in, but it was all the guys. And now you're playing in the toy box that everyone is playing. So now you got.
Yeah, my wife and I have been married 29 years, and she started playing with me like the second month we were together because she was like, "Oh my gosh, this is so neat and different."
Nice.
She loves it.
That's how my wife. I got with my wife as well. She's a good player, but she was like, after she tried it, she was like, "Okay, I'm good. I married you. We're off and running." I was like, "That's fair. That's fair."
Whenever I think of D&D, I think of the episode of Community where they play Dungeons and Dragons. If you haven't watched it, that's like one of the best Community episodes ever. And yeah, Adrian, I'm kind of with you. My wife has zero interest in any of this, but
right.
When I first brought her to my apartment, she was like, "All right, this is someone I can be with this dude. He's not going anywhere."
Yeah. I think I'm not the only one. You know what? It was funny because it was just like I appreciate one of the cool things is I appreciated that she still wanted to play and try it out.
Mm-hmm.
And she ended up, to be honest, being one of the better players that I've had over a long period of time. So, and it didn't take, and I was system-wise, I was using 4th edition. So that's like the black sheep of Dungeons and Dragons.
Right.
Everyone in the Hush Whispers, they mention it. At the point, it's a little bit, it's tactically, it's a little bit difficult than compared to the latest edition. But I always say it's always up to the DM. But she grasped the basics. If you could grasp the basics, one thing I always say is it's all D20. So once you get the basics, you're able to go ahead. But that's the ease of the game. What keeps them in is the imagination part.
I gotcha. All right, well, guys, let's jump into what Hasbro presented us last week. Now, look, once again, I have not seen the movie, but as we get into the figures, some of the figures look fantastic,
Right.
and others, it's making me do a little pausing on it. So let's get into it now. Now look, because it is Hasbro, and we'll be getting to Transformers later on. We'll talk about the dicing, but here we talked. They presented the Bedlam and Neverwinter, which they said was an escape room type board game, if I heard that correctly.
Interesting.
Like they just said, they kind of brought up as an, yeah, it's an escape room adventure, which I'm curious. Like I've done an escape room before, which, by the way, if you really want to test the friendships, do one. If you don't. What do y'all think about this? What do y'all's?
Man, I love the idea of escape rooms and board games. Man,
Right.
it's another layer to bring people in.
I agree.
Escape rooms are just puzzles.
I think.
What did you say, Nate?
Oh, sorry. I think the Bedlam, it looks great. I mean, in terms of like the design and stuff, I could see like people gravitating to it. Me as a DM, I would probably just strip mine it to a certain extent and make it into my campaign. I would use like a lot of these board games, because to be honest with you, I'm not as, even though I play Dungeons and Dragons, I'm not a board game per se, but a lot of the things that they do with these board games, like the tokens, the monsters, all that is like perfect material for Dungeons and Dragons. And people aren't buying these like box sets. This is what they used to look like in second edition. They had box sets. So I would just strip mine it. Like I would make this a complete Dungeons and Dragons adventure.
Okay. Well, then moving on. Well, we got, because you got pieces here. I can see it being strip mined. I can see that.
So I would just I would add it into a board gaming session that I have around the house and find people that didn't play D&D, and I'd introduce them to this, and I would play it. I plan on picking it up? More than likely, I'll probably pick this up. And do I have people already in mind that's going to play it? Yeah. I got some people.
I would definitely get it for the minis.
Yes.
Yes.
And they kind of did the same thing with the Yawning Portal. It's another D&D-esque game, so I'm guessing that, I'm sure that y'all could probably, pick that apart and do something with it. All right, now let's see here. I think our first dicing. I like the idea of these.
Look, I dig it. I see kids liking it. I see my little girl liking them. I dig it. Anything gets the kids into it. I really, really, really like it. They're cute. They're fun. Kind of like the Transformer thing. The dice. Yeah.
I think it'll work. Again, you're trying to broaden out we're talking about the brand. You're trying to broaden out the brand and creating stuff like this to get kids involved. They like Transformer stuff. So, and then you're getting them to know the dice as well. I think that's a good formula for it.
Yeah, because let's see here. Here's the owlbear. Go. So here's it's a giant. I think.
Now, would I allow one on my table to roll? Probably not. I'd say they're a little off balance.
One of the doors will pop off, the leg will fly out, or something like that when you roll it.
Exactly.
Or somebody throws it at you.
Exactly. Let's see here. I like Travis's little comment here. That's an AC looking dragon.
It's solid.
Yeah.
It is solid.
Well, you could use it for a miniature in the game, because if you look at the scale of it.
Yeah. So we actually do have a scale here in hand. That's a good. I would assume that's a good scale.
It's good. Yeah, I think that would be a good scale for I think that's the Displacer Beast. I think that's the Displacer.
No, I think that one is another dragon. The Displacer Beast, I believe, is. I watched this last week. It's hollow. It's kind of a bluish, clear blue.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a green dragon. I think they might be dragons. There's your just. That looks like
I-
the Displacer Beast, I believe. Now,
I would get this.
I will buy this. This, I mean, I've got no Dungeons and Dragons, but I mean, I'll put this with my Iceman. Like, I will cross.
Yeah.
This is a good looking figure in terms of the way they did the plastics on this,
Mhm.
the see through, as a figure and as something that you could use in the game, because you could do constructs. There are things in the game that are called constructs that you can use, and you can use this as a representation of maybe a monster construct like that. But this figure is, and I love the way they did the D20.
Yeah, the die itself looks good. All right, so Travis said, yeah, we could use this for G.I. Joe, which yeah,
He'd use anything for G.I. Joe. I mean, come on.
Joe.
yeah. Travis finds anything they can, like that's good for Joe. That can go for Joe. And then I guess they did do a black Displacer Beast as well. I must have missed that when I was doing the slides, but I love the translucent figures. I know Hasbro likes using this a lot. They used it for Iceman and for the hologram Iron Man.
Yeah,
a while back. So I know they like that.
Nice.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, Chef. So what happened when you're not here? It means we need another G.I. Joe cartoon. All right.
Hey, they do G.I. Joe action figures. They should have the bullets that look like that, like from the cartoon. They used to shoot the laser beams and have them just like that inside the box.
That'd be dope.
They should have just like that.
Oh, and Doctor Strange is right. All right. So now, this is the. Is it the replicator? What is this?
Mimic.
The mimic.
Mimic. Yeah.
All right. So yeah, I like. You know what this reminds me of? The old school the real Ghostbusters from the 80s.
Yes.
The toilet.
Yes.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the toilet. Yes.
And I just used this.
Mimics is a creature that can look like most anything. This one, I think, in the movie and in this, they're both treasure chests.
Yes.
But they could be a statue. They could be a suit of armor. They could just be a regular box. It's just it's something to help full characters when you're playing a game. And of course, when y'all see the movie, spoiler alert. Well, it's also in the preview.
It's in the trailer, yeah.
Yeah, it's in the trailer. So I mean,
they're
neat little creatures.
They could also be walls.
Yes, yes. Doors, walls, door handles. Yeah.
And shimmying across, you got to be careful.
And they eat, and they're carnivores. They eat meat.
I mean, with those teeth, you kind of have to.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what we got going on here next. We've got the owl bear.
The owl bear.
Now, I won't lie. This looks awesome. Can y'all? I mean, from what I've read, that the guys who did the movie. I mean, obviously the guys who wrote and did the movie are huge geeks. They really are. And they paid a lot of attention to the lore of D&D. So I mean, is owlbear one of the creatures in D&D, or is?
Yes.
It is, but it's not as it's represented differently in the game than in what it was represented in the movie.
Okay.
I don't know how much a spoiler. I don't want to spoil the movie for people that haven't seen it. The druid does something that brings this kind of creature out, and normally they don't have that in the game. As long as I played, they don't have that option in wild shape, unless they added something recently into 5e. I don't think they have the ability to turn into something like that. But I did hear rumors that in the new edition that's coming out, or the revision that's coming, they may be able to wild shape into this. So it's like a dire beast. It's like just a regular monster that's roaming the forest. That is, no one. Again, the lore is different in every edition.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's a creatures that characters can run across. They don't have to kill it whenever they run across it.
Right.
They can do different things. But like he said, it's also in the trailer itself.
Yeah.
One of the characters, the tiefling, does transform into it, and uses it to basically. The scene that I saw is like the Hulk. It's almost like slamming people on the ground, like the
Yes.
Hulk did with Loki. And I love stuff like that. I like big monsters doing things to normal sized people. I enjoy that. I haven't seen the movie yet. I'll see it tomorrow, but I think I've read enough. But yeah, it's going to be fantastic to see this on the screen after reading about it over the years. I'm again looking forward to it.
Chip, they did a really good job on. They really did a good job on the owl bear, and it's one of the rules that works well. It's one of the rules that in the game doesn't translate into the movie, but in the movie, the way they handled it, it works very well.
Okay. So here's the cast looking at their figures, and once again, I mean, I don't know if there was likeness issues, but like, look, they were all happy, and like, look, if I get an action figure made of myself, even if it looked poopy, I'd still be cool with it. But look, here is Sophia. I think it's Lily's dork. Like if you like her face sculpt just doesn't look like everything else about her looks cool.
She looks a little surprised.
Yeah, that's a little off. The other one looked better.
But the paint on the body and the legs and the arms and the articulation with the tail, I mean, surprisingly, I don't think the tail's bendy, but it's going to be a cool figure to add to your shelf. I mean, that looks like they actually add some dry brushing and some wash to it to add some depth. I mean, it's a fantastic. I mean, for D&D, like G.I. Joe, Hasbro owns G.I. Joe, so therefore Hasbro also owns Dungeons and Dragons, which allows them to do a little more with figures and add a little more paint to them.
Well, it's funny. We're talking about this figure, right? I've been noticing NECA just came out with two Dungeons and Dragons from characters from the old cartoon, and when you look at those figures and how they put those things together, they're like, wow.
Now that Warduke's hot, dude.
That stuff is gorgeous, and a lot of it is like, okay, you got to bring it. Hasbro got to bring its A game. You're the number one toy creator in the world. So when you see something, it also depends on the pictures and how they catch it and everything. But when you see something off, it's like, really, Hasbro? Come on, Hasbro. We want better.
Speaking of that, so next we have Renee Jean Page's Zenk. Yeah,
that's solid.
Now this is solid. Now look, this is solid.
I like the way that looks.
Yeah, I like that. I really like the way that figure looks. And
but look at her face here.
Oh man,
you can't see it. But
yeah, little surprised. Little surprised.
Like this is one of those times where I think you need an alternate head to come along with it, so it doesn't look like deer in the headlight.
I agree with you.
Well, you don't have to get the figure; you can just get the owlbear and pretend it's her.
Which they actually do that in the show. But no, let's go back to Renee Jean's figure. I mean that does look great. I mean, and he's a fantastic actor, and I if I could, I would cast him as Warren Worthington in MCU's X-Men because he has that regal face. But derp face for Sophia. And I felt bad because she was so excited to see her action figure. And
wow.
I mean, still, it's a good-looking figure, except the face is off. The face is off. But when we go to buy these figures, we won't be able to see them in the package to know exactly until we start seeing some reviews pop up.
Yeah,
I can see them doing some bootleg figures on the side, changing the head a little bit, maybe doing some, toy adjustments. How the mad scientists are when they buy a figure. It's like, okay, I'm gonna change that head. I'm gonna put the hair.
Now, to be fair, let's see here. Miss Jones, she's a fucking adventurer. She looks surprised. Yeah. Also, she's a fucking adventurer. She looked like she's ready for battle.
That was funny.
That was great. That was great. Just like, oh shit.
Oh, we can cuss on this?
Oh yeah. Well, PG-13 level.
Okay.
There.
Okay.
PG-13 level.
Okay.
Now if Travis and I have been drinking, then maybe our level.
We can drink on this?
Yeah.
Pass me the tequila.
but like we look at these and look. I mean, once again, like, and this is, I think, Hasbro's biggest issue that they've had is that the bodies always look fantastic, and it is hard, to capture a good face sometimes.
Right.
I just like, I think my biggest thing, and Melanie, I just had to throw you on there because she makes a good point. Like, look, they can look surprised, but we want, especially when for some reason it's always difficult for these manufacturers to get like really good female faces down.
It's not easy as an artist. For some people, if you're drawing females every day, it's you get it down. It's not easy to do the female face for someone. And I draw every day, and I'm constantly drawing. And even then there's a softness to the way that face is. So
yeah.
It's easier to do the direct lines of a man because the cheekbones are defined, everything's defined. But when you get to like a female character, their bone structure, unless it's really defined, isn't. So it's kind of hard to capture that.
And you really got to look at the time that they have certain characters. Like when you start looking at Star Wars and you look at Princess Leia, you look at Padme, the last several characters that's come out looks great. Some of the older ones are awful. So I think, if this line survives or there's a sequel, then we might get another one that looks a little better because they always got to play with that and they're always improving. That's one thing about Hasbro I've noticed is like some of the newest, like that Padme looked fantastic. Now, which Leia was that? I think it was the Endor Leia that had a really good look to her. And it's the same way with MCU stuff. Black Widow, her last figure was great.
Yes,
the face on it looked really good, but the previous ones, man,
well, and Chip, you bring up a good point. Sorry, Adrian, real quick, you bring up a good point, and is that this movie is doing really, really well,
right?
And everyone, from what I've heard, everyone is saying they all had fun on this movie. So they would all come back. So I think a sequel is definitely could be done, and I've already been seeing a bunch of sites here. No, what they could do is like they could take this campaign or they could do this campaign. There's so many more campaigns that can be done. That I'm sure Sophia will get a much better face sculpt because every one of us in this on the show has complained at least one time or another about an MCU figure that like look, whether it's the Chris Pratt in Love and Thunder, that face sculpt looked horrible. The Doctor Strange astral form looked garbage. So
what was that Captain America that came out about 3 or 4 years ago that was unmasked? I forgot what line.
I think it was
oh man,
yeah,
it was bad.
Yeah,
it was a bad movie.
What next? So here's, I like how they just kept them all out there for showing scale. Now this,
woo,
now
this got my attention.
Now I have the miniature of this, and they had came out with the miniatures of these for 3rd edition, and it's the Displacer Beast Lord. This is awesome. I love the way it looks.
It's the bendy tentacles.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's a good looking one. But the one thing we know about Hasbro is they'll do something again. They'll reuse that mode. This mode isn't something they're going to use once. I bet we'll see a translucent version.
This mode is probably because I got the Dritz action figure that they sold. They probably used the Guinevere. I would have to look at the Guinevere mode. They probably used the Guinevere mode for that, and then added the tentacles to it. Yeah. I have to take a look at it.
I'm looking forward to getting that in hand. I cannot wait to get that one.
You want the Dritz?
Really cool.
Yeah, I got Dritz.
All right.
Day one on Dritz, man.
Yeah, definitely had to get it.
He's actually not my favorite character, but I told my buddy that was watching with me. I said, if they show any D&D characters, I'm buying it. And they showed Dritz. He said, "You get Dritz," and I said, "Foot and mouth."
Yeah,
But it's a beautiful figure.
it's a good night.
Figure.
Like
And it's still on Hasbro Pulse.
Amazing.
Look, okay, this is cool. Listen to the Decoder podcast with HBO CEO Chris Cox. He shares that he's a big D&D fan, and why we have this line right now.
Good.
It helps when you're the CEO of, and that's the thing you dig.
Yeah.
I this is really cool. I don't do D&D, but this and that one translucent dragon might end up on my shelves. This
it's a weird looking. It's a little fun.
I like this version of the owlbear better than the white one.
Okay.
Yeah, I like it a lot better. I believe, if I remember right, the face
That's
is completely
better. I like
different. This is the one I'm going to get. Now, if I see the white one in the store and I got a little money and there's no new Joes or no other figures, I may end up getting the white one. But yeah, this one is. I love the coloring on the face.
Yeah.
I love the coloring on the arms. The white one is just it doesn't feel as layered as this one. And that's why I think this one actually feels more expressive in the face.
That's fair. Now we do have a side by side, and yeah, the brown one does have more texture, more depth, I guess.
Yeah,
it's funny. The brown one would probably be the one that's in the forest, and the white one would be the Arctic Icewind Dale owl beast. So.
And then finally we got Xanathar.
Yes.
when I saw this is exactly what I did.
Yes. You can never have enough beholders.
Oh, man, I saw this and I had to have a moment. I mean, it's an ugly creature, but to actually see this in action figure form from reading that very first Forgotten Realms book, the blue book that came out in the late 80s, he's Xanathar's there, and he's got his little fish on the side. You open it up, it's just like Adventures of Forgotten Realms. It was a little module, and to see this in action figure form with the mouth that opens and eyes that moves, man, that is. I mean, I'm a nerd. This is giving me chills.
That's a piece of. I mean, I love beholders. I often use them in my game as villains and stuff like that. But this is a master. This is I won't say masterpiece, but I will say it's one of the best sculpts that they've done. It looks great, and the mouth. I like if you can push the mouth up and everything. I would use this as again, I would use this for the game. I use whatever I can. Props are great for the game.
That's just amazing.
Beholder God.
It's a beautiful.
Yeah, like I won't lie. Like there were 4 figures, or four things in this I would get. I'd get this. The what was the cat with like the giant like tentacles?
Displacer Beast.
Okay, this Displacer Beast. The translucent dragon, and probably like some of the movie figures, depending on how they look. And actually, this would be amazing. Big Trouble in Little China.
Smaller.
Definitely.
Well, I mean, this could probably be scale with it. Trying to think.
Yeah.
The tentacles were a lot shorter.
That would be dope. Now, speaking of, guys, we're going to keep you on here, but because he did make such a great last-minute segment or comment, we're bringing now in our friend Eric Corpy. Yay!
Yo, what's up, guys?
Oh,
What's going on?
All right, so Dungeons and Dragons. Look, the movie's is making bank, and we're definitely gonna get a sequel. Where they could go, I can't even begin. But real quick, Chip, Adrian, we'll go on to our next segment because we're gonna keep y'all on here for that. Did y'all both watch the stream?
I watched some of the stream. I was actually working at the time, so I hadn't gone back to watch a lot of it. So,
I have not yet, only because I'm getting a new computer and I haven't been able to get on as frequently as I could. So,
gotcha. Because I was gonna ask you because there seems to be something with Hasbro kind of putting some of their best people on other stuff right now, like Star Wars moving from Black Series to Indiana Jones, which I think actually might be better right now. But Emily is holding down both GI Joe and D&D, and I just wondering how y'all thought she did. I mean, I love Emily. She's a sweetheart. And I thought she just killed it on that.
I like Emily a lot. I'm glad that they brought someone into it that seems to be a fan, especially on G.I. Joe. And of course, when Hasbro announced layoffs, I kind of had a feeling we would start seeing some brand managers taking on extra jobs, which is kind of normal for layoffs. Hey, we got to let these people go.
Yeah.
With bringing in D&D and then picking that one, having G.I. Joe pick it up, which I thought was kind of weird that G.I. Joe, that she would do both. But I'm like, hey, okay. And then you go to, what was the other one? Star Wars and Indiana Jones. Hey, that makes sense. It's both Lucasfilm. And those guys are doing, I mean, both of them doing good. And again, I'll say I do like what Emily is doing. Yeah. And I enjoy,
No, and Big Bacon just mentioned, just made it aware that we all have beards. It's the Cool Beards Club.
In my backpack.
I think you're the only one with hair, though.
In the bedroom. Sorry. Having to get my charging cord.
We're all ball too.
Yep.
Yeah. Bald guys with beards.
All right.
Hair.
So 1 out of 4 has a full set of hair. It's okay.
It's glued.
You skinned a cheetah or something.
Now, moving on to part 2 of the show, the Transformers, which once again, I actually kind of watched this a bit, and I feel that the team that they're moving on to, Transformers, is actually a really well done team. Eric, I'm gonna let you talk about this a bit. I know you watched this stream.
Yeah.
How do you feel about? They seem to be going at kind of breakneck pace though for a lot of that stream.
Yes, and the parts of that are because they were trying to get stuff out before it got spoiled. Over the last week or two, a lot of stuff's been hitting online before they had a chance to actually present it. Like there's a whole toy line they were trying to sneak in, and people are posting it. Wow. And it's like they're kind of like, okay, we're trying. But they got word that the Titan Nemesis was gonna get leaked out, and they wanted to get that in there before it hit the public.
Oh wow!
Because there's been some really big problems overseas, in Cambodia and Korea and all that, where they've been selling stuff, the prototypes, offhand, so people who are all the guys who all the toy reviewers can try to get first dibs on it, and that stuff. And they're going, instead of going for final versions, they're going for early prototypes now. So they wanted to get that in there as soon as possible. I mean, a year or so ago, the Armada Optimus kind of got leaked, maybe almost 2 years ago, and it wasn't ready to be seen, but people have been asking for it. Mm-hmm. So they had to kind of they didn't want to get put in that position again. So they wanted to make sure they were close to ready. Yeah. And they even said in a couple of weeks, we're going to show you the better painted version of everything. But they really wanted to get it all out before somebody pushes a button and all of a sudden the next 6 months stuff is leaked.
Yeah, because I watched I was watching it and that intro hey, boom, boom, and here's the and they're like,
yeah, they went right into it.
They went right into it. I was like, damn, people. Foreplay, Jesus.
Well, with Delita 1 leaving and going into other brands, probably hurt a lot too.
Yeah.
So we'll miss her. She's going into kids brands.
Well then let's do what they couldn't do, and we actually had some fun there. But let's jump into this now. So the first one would be sorry, I was having fun today with these. We've got Ariel and Dion.
Okay. Ariel is spelt a little bit differently than usual because they didn't want to get into that fight with Disney. Because it's spelt the same way. They didn't want to get a lot of controversy, so it was easy to change the name. And with it starting with an E, kind of rolls right into Alita 1.
Gotcha.
There's some really cool things about this. Using the cup mold again, and then using the bike mode for Alita. They don't show it on here, but her actually has a moving ponytail too.
Well, that's neat.
Yeah. It's but the gun that she uses in here, when she was Ariel, she didn't have a weapon because they were all just worker guys.
Right.
That's the Alita 1's gun that didn't pack with her. So when she when she dies and gets rebuilt, there's her weapon.
So these are the final colors these are the final paints for Orion Pax and Alita.
This is Dion. Dion. They are depending on what country you're in, they're already on the shelves because they messed up and got released early in Canada. These are a Comic-Con exclusive.
Gotcha.
Now, wait, hold on, Eric. So wait, they're Comic-Con exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
They already got released in Canada.
Yep, they got released early by GameStop.
GameStop.
Canadians. So Canadians. For anybody who wants like a little fun lore or whatnot, Dion, however you want to pronounce his name, he is the only one that died that didn't get a proper new figure. Some people think that he's Ironhide. Some people think that he became Cup. Some people think that he's Ultra Magnus.
That's what I heard. I thought that was supposed to be Ultra Magnus, but
that the biggest rumor for Ultra Magnus for that is because when you take Magnus out of his armor, he looks just like Prime. So it's so he built two of in the same mold, but since he didn't get the Matrix, he gave him battle armor.
Right.
But there is other stories in comics and other comics. My personal favorite thought on him is he's actually Roller. There wasn't enough to say him, but he was able to be his little friends.
That would be cool.
I can see like a face thing with this, a similarity with the face. When you said Roller. And then that wheelie I'm talking about.
But with the helmet, it gives a lot of people thinking maybe it's Ironhide or he got rebuilt into that because it's his oldest friends. This is a continuation of the War Dawn, which is the origin of Optimus Prime and the start of the war. They did hint that it's going to be on the top of the box. You can see some Decepticons, and in the back and on the front of it, in the back, you can see Orion. I'm pointing to it, but you can't see my finger through my thing. But there's Orion / Optimus Prime in the back waving at you.
Okay.
On the top of the box.
Yes.
You might have got a screenshot of it in there. There's the 3 Decepticons that are flying.
I didn't get that picture. I did see it when they were talking about it. Yes.
But there's it's potentially it's gonna be another line trying to do kind of like an Origins line. So you'll see some stuff like this where you'll see a close to a G1 Megatron. That's where you might get your original version Starscream, where he turned into a light post, and maybe the Tetrajets. I saw you shaking your head on that one.
I was like, what? Okay.
In the first episode, when they're sneaking into base, he was like a light pole.
Soundwave.
Soundwave, yes.
Soundwave.
So he was hiding outside the base and spying on them.
Yeah. Okay. That's dope. All right. Moving on, we've got Swoop. Now, look, I love the Dinobots. I think everyone loves the Dinobots.
Swoop, there it is.
Oh, he did it.
I did it.
Went for it.
I have no shame.
All right. So let's go into we like to play the game. Smash or pass. Smash if you see it, you get it. Pass if you don't. Or if you want to cheat and go pash, be like, wait for it in hand. Adrian, smashing or passing on this dude?
You know what? I'm not digging the color scheme on this. I'm gonna pass. It looks nice, but I don't like the colors. The colors on this. It just something's off on it, and I don't know what it is.
I'll tell you shortly.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Chip, did you smash or pass this?
I'm gonna pass on this one.
Okay.
Like Ace said, the colors just seem weird, and white wings. I'm used to silver wings.
All right, Eric, as Dr. Corpy, professor in transformology.
All right. So, well, first of all, I don't like core class figures. In general, I pass on them.
Yes.
So one of the things they're doing here with the Dinobots is, even though they're all going to merge to be Volcanicus, there's also going to be there's a 6th Dinobot in here. There's still one more to get released after Scar here. He's the new guy. When it's all said and done, there's going to be a couple other ones coming in too, and they're going to do Dino King, which is basically the Japanese Dinobots, DYNO bots.
Oh.
So a lot of the things might look a little odd because it's kind of like a fusion of the two.
Gotcha. So they're bringing in the parts of the Takara line that's over in Japan to do this Dino. What was it? Dino.
Dino King.
Dino King. Oh God.
Yeah. So one important thing to remember when it comes to the synergy between Hasbro and Takara is that they didn't really start working on the same page really until the turn of the century.
Right.
Once when Armada finally came out, that was the first really project they kind of worked hand in hand with. Car Robot was still a Japanese that came to the stateside before that. And then before that was the Japanese Beast Wars, which we're going to get into a little bit later.
Right.
But that's really the biggest reason why some of the coloring and some of the forms. It's not just trying to make it G1-ish, but they're trying to meld the two.
Gotcha. And then we got Scar, which when they mentioned this, when I saw this, and what is it? It's core class, right, Eric?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I was really disappointed because I know I still have to get the one that slut, but I want the big dinos.
Those are nice.
Those
big ones that are nice.
You still got 2 more of those to get solicited.
Yes, we haven't gotten Swoop yet, and this.
Right, Swoop is left, and then there might be. I've heard a rumor that the 2 reoccurring sometimes Dinobots might come in as a 2-pack. You might get him and what the hell is it? There was another one who was like a raptor.
What?
Okay. There's a little raptor one that looks kind of like a smaller Grimlock, kind of.
When did that?
Like Dinobots from the 3D one?
From the ID universe, IDW.
Okay.
Man, look, David, you're confused. I'm confused. I mean, what the hell? No. So I don't remember Scar from G1.
Didn't.
Okay.
Didn't exist.
Okay. Because I'm thinking back to my old school Transformers. I'm like, this guy didn't exist.
When they decided that they were gonna turn him into a combiner, they wanted to make extra parts. And there's always been in the publication side of things. There's always been other teams. Like he's the Dinobot medic.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
And you can see that's actually his fist where his tail should be.
Oh, okay, that's what that is. I was wondering. All right, that makes sense.
Okay. All right, so yeah, I'm gonna assume we're all passing on this one as well.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. All right, this one I was so excited to get this Beachcomber.
Classic.
Finally.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, I'm gonna speak for us all and say smash.
Absolute smash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a classic figure.
Look at this.
Look at that. Look at it.
I love it. It's so cool. Like great size, great scaling. I mean, other than looking awesome,
Man, that hits the nostalgia feels right there
Was.
of just like, sitting in the parents' vehicle and transforming it and playing
Right.
with it. And
Also, and I know y'all will feel me on this one. So on the chest, like where the little Autobot symbol is, like the old school, like where you like would put your hand on it and like change colors.
That'd be nice.
I love that. That's what it reminds me of.
Eric, question.
Sure.
It had he was mentioning the symbol when you used to put your hand on it.
Yeah.
Was that the second like season of Transformers that they had that? Because I remember the first rollout of the line, they didn't have that. They just had the regular.
It was first season refresh, second season.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it was a selling that was thrown in there last minute ago. Oh, this could be cool.
Right.
Off.
Which it was. It was.
Well, first of all, on this guy here, let's talk about how awesome he is. I mean, it's a great mold. I do find it interesting that the pacifist has a gun.
yeah. It's not a gun.
It stuns. It
stuns.
Yeah.
It's a stun gun. Let's go with that.
We got on the package. It's not just Beachcomber. It's Beachcomber and the Paradise Parakeet.
Yep, right there.
The Parakeet actually gets like good billing on the package. They base this figure upon the Golden Lagoon episode where they all become golden. So that means they're probably gonna see a bigger push for Hasbro doing golden repaints as they're running out of stuff to do.
Interesting.
Well, you'll probably see a lot more redecos of him and go in G2 colors, just like we've seen recently with Walmart. But it's because there's really not much you can do with that frame. But so you'll see repaints like that. But it's a cool figure. It's a great moment in Transformers history.
Yeah, I mean,
and as a person, I mentioned it last time, and you were kind of surprised when I said, but I grew up on an island, right. And so having a little beach buggy is always really cool to see.
Touche. All right, now moving on to this one was kind of new for me, but DevCon.
DevCon is G1. He did appear in one episode. He's the first so far, like in G1 continuity, he is, and for the cartoon, he is the first mercenary.
Gentlemen, one more. Sorry, I gotta roll out. Sorry.
Oh no, no worries, man.
Cool, man. Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you.
I had a great time. I hope to do it again.
Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
Pleasure, man.
Anytime.
Have a good night, guys. Thanks.
All right.
All right. So this guy here is a severely retooled Blur. I thought originally it was going to either be Cyclonus or Scourge, but they really, really kind of put it down to brass tacks. They were trying to save enough on there to make a Slizaro figure, that little lizard guy. Oh, I gotta support my children. That little villain guy, that little snake, But yeah, this looks really, really nice. I just wish they did more with the character to it instead of a one-off appearance to really do it.
Yeah.
At least have some sort of real standing legacy. This and Death's Head are pretty much the two original bounty hunters, which didn't become popular again until Trapdoor, whatever his name is, Lockdown.
I love the color. The color scheme on this.
I like the color, and I remember the episode. And I don't collect a lot of Transformers. I just grab like I'm big into the '86 stuff. I love the '86 albums they come out with, and this will probably be one from the episode I might grab.
Wow,
it's unique. It's different. It's something that I remember. I think it looks kind of cool.
And now I'm with you, Chip. I always keep my Transformers the ones I get in the robotic form. I never put them in their car form. Which is why it's so weird that I didn't get Soundwave, because they never released him in his jukebox form. But it was but I like the way the robot looked. But yeah, I like the way that this looks in the robot form. Yeah, 86 all day. All right, moving on. I mean, look, it's now, Eric. Let me ask you this, because here it's a more of a bright blue, and here it's more of a
Lighting.
okay.
Lighting. Yeah.
Wasn't sure if it was like a prototype or whatnot, but okay. Fair. And we got actual grease,
Evil Nancy.
which kind of it looks cool. I'm not gonna lie.
That's loud.
That's a good way of putting it. It is loud.
It is loud. That's all it is.
That is 80s all day. That purple.
Yeah. I could see that car rolling down. I can hear Travis now. I'll put some dreadnoughts in it.
Well, you do know Travis. All right. Now, Eric, this is the cool thing about this. They mentioned that the pieces do interchange, I believe.
Yes. So over the last couple of years, they tried doing these things. Like they had the dinosaur skeletons. They had these little robots that could merge on there. This is the thing here with these guys, where they're able to kind of parts form together, mix and match, make what you want. And they're all Junkions. And this is the first Decepticon Junkion. Well,
okay.
And her name is Axel Grease. And even the face is the face of Nancy. She was one of the bots from the movie. So I can easily see this getting a quick retool, recolor, and go in the 86 line.
Okay.
But but she's an awesome looking figure. I see an easy also a retool on that to be lockjaw, lockdown. Because I mean, she even has the claw for the hand that's in there. Great looking figure, and it was an easy buy for me.
Oh, they already the pre-orders came out today, if I believe, correct?
I got mine that was day of the video.
Okay. All right. Chip, what are you gonna do with this? Are you gonna smash this?
I'll probably pass on this.
All right.
But she's so pretty.
It's loud. It's loud. It's pretty. It's just, again, I don't really have no nostalgia with it. I'm not feeling nothing with it. I don't recognize it.
Yeah,
it's neat. I like the wrecker. I like how it looks, but the colors on this one, it's neat. It's neat, but it's probably something that, if I was to buy it, where's it going on my shelf? Am I going to put it down here with this, with these Transformers or this? It would be misplaced. So pass on it.
You got Angry Tomato, and you got on the other end with the tow truck, and on the other one you got Mad Max.
All right, moving on. We've got I have Dirge, right, Eric?
Yeah. So this is just a repackage from the Amazon exclusive they did. There's very little changes to it. It's just, instead of being a 2-pack, they're releasing both of them singularly.
Man, but that Amazon exclusive, my gosh, how much is it now?
But it'll be a lot less now.
Yeah, it will be. But it'd be nice to get this one.
But yeah, I mean, these are going mass market. You're probably going to get all three, because by the time these get out, the red one should be out from the Target exclusive by that point. So you'll probably be a good chance to get them all singly.
I don't do the villains, but I might get this one. I don't know. I dig the color scheme. I don't know.
There's also, later on, there's a place where his brothers appear, but he doesn't. It's probably because he was in the video. But we'll get to that later. We'll get that towards the end.
Yeah. Let's moving on. Let's see here. We've got. That just looks cool. The Nemesis Leo Prime. I didn't get the video, Eric. I'm sorry. I ran out of time today. Okay. This looks awesome.
So this figure historically is it's the first Nemesis. It predates Scourge as Nemesis, as the original Nemesis Prime kind of thing. He appeared in one episode, got hit with a laser, and basically a dick version of Optimus comes out of Leo Prime comes out, and He's a real badass. He has all the abilities and none of the restraint. It's
Damn. All right.
And the weapon, he actually has a unique weapon on him too. That's not with his counterpart. Is all the Beast Wars characters? They all have like the same basic weapon, and he actually comes with that gun. So it makes me assume that eventually soon they're gonna start doing the other Beast War Neo characters.
Okay, because here we have him like in hand, and I like that. For all intents and purposes, gunmetal gray on him.
Yeah, that the blue with the black gunmetal gray.
Yeah,
that was all done before Scourge.
Gotcha.
For Robots in Disguise. They put that on. Those colors worked so well on this. They thought it was an easy translation going into there.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. It looks great. Let's see what next we've got. The Armada Megatron.
That's cool.
What do we think about this, gentleman? Chip, I'll go with you first.
I think it's pretty cool looking. Whether I'll get it or not, I doubt it, but it's really cool looking. I can't wait to see it on the shelf. One of the things I like about collecting toys is I always hit the toy aisle, and I do respect stuff that gets on the shelf, and I always look at new things. And this is cool. I mean, how much shelf space is it going to take, or is it an exclusive? I mean, I may be saying shelf space, and it might be an exclusive.
No, it was Hasbro. It's mass market.
Okay. Yeah, it'd be neat to see on the shelf. I can't wait to see that one sitting on the shelf. No, it won't sit long around here. I live in an area with a bunch of diehard Transformer fans.
It makes okay. I mean, Arkansas, I can see it. Yeah.
Oh, they love their. I'm in like 2 local chats. Man, they love the Transformers.
Huh?
As well, they should.
As they should. As they should. All right. Eric, Smash. Did you get this one?
Of course, I did.
Why did I even ask? Why did I even bother? This one. I mean, yeah, it looks amazing in hand. Then we get.
Wait, go back a little bit.
Yeah.
So, just like the original Armada figure, there is posability with the back cannon that's coming out. Okay. And you can, unlike the other version, you can also alter the hands to put the cannon on the hands too.
Really?
And when they were fiddling with it, they did mention that there is add-ons coming out. Now, the add-ons could be a couple different things. It could be more mini-cons where we haven't seen any of them yet. Or it could be Tidal Wave, who could merge with him. And that means it'll be a bigger Megatron to go with the bigger Optimus, because that means eventually we'll start getting other combiners, so to speak.
That'd be cool.
Because when I saw the Titan that we're getting,
yeah,
it looked like it was originally supposed to be Tidal Wave, and then they decided to go change it. But there's certain parts of the body that look very similar. I was like, oh, that could be that. And then maybe they decided they wanted to make something smaller to play with him, so they don't have it in 2 sizes.
I gotcha. It makes sense. I mean, yeah, because I mean, I feel like if you do Transformers, you need a lot of space for some of these figures. What's up, Chip?
Does take up a lot of shelf real estate.
Yeah. Now this, I was going to ask you about this, Eric, because what is this Optimus?
This is Armada Optimus.
Okay.
So, what's the best way of saying it? So, think like Ultra Magnus, where he plugs into his trailer. I'm trying to think of, because I know you're not really deep into it. I'm trying to think of the easiest way of saying.
That's a good way. That's a great way of putting it. So
the way his legs actually are the arms, if you see it on the giant version of him. The trailer turns into the bit like an exoskeleton, and then Optimus kind of flips around. His legs become his hands, clicks in on top, and he's ready to go. And there is also a removable matrix in there too for all the completists.
You need you obviously need a matrix, yes, but that's actually really cool. I know the fact that like Megatron is a little bit taller than Optimus there.
and he was in the cartoon too. And it was then he called upon his trailer, which was both a battle station and his armor.
I remember that.
Yeah,
I remember.
Maybe because I don't remember I remember watching Transformers, but not like intensely, so I don't remember all these. But these are I love these figures.
Armada is the start of the Unicron trilogy.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it went Armada, then Energon, then Cybertron, or
Gotcha.
Cybertron Energon.
Okay. All right. Chip, you gonna wait for see this in hand or this?
Yeah, I'm gonna look at it. I watched some of Armada again.
Yeah,
was probably in my mid-20s when Armada came out, maybe my 30s, and I didn't get to really dig into it like I did the Gen 1 stuff or 86. Like I said, it'd be good to see in store. Hopefully, it's not in a full box. Hopefully, you can actually look at it again. A lot of Transformer fans, I'm sure I'll be able to go over to someone's house and play with it.
Yeah,
yeah. I'm 51 years old and I play with toys. What's up, dudes?
Yeah. You're amongst friends, my friend. So once again, here's another in hand look at. I mean, these are and I try to get. I like the fact that they're actually holding them in hand because these are some huge figures.
Figure of the year, right here.
Really?
Wow, it's a bold statement.
But
he knows his Transformers, so I will not disagree with him.
Every single person who snuck a copy out of it, he goes, "This is unbelievable."
Really?
It's worth the wait.
Now, let me ask you this, Eric, because what was this going for?
Back in the day?
Okay. So he's not for pre-order yet, then.
No, he's going to be a commander class, so he'll probably be about between probably $90 to $100.
Gotcha. Okay.
Depending on what the new rate's going to be.
Okay.
Because Megatron was a leader, he's commander, and then Nemesis is Titan.
Okay, and those and Titans what 150?
Who knows anymore? I think the last Titan that came out was 200 with the Metroplex, and I think 200 was also the Sentinel.
Okay. So there's the box for the Alchemist, and then which I love. I do love. I love the artwork for Joe and for Transformers. I wish Marvel Legends would adopt this, but alas, here we go. The Titan Nemesis.
Oh yeah, I was shocked to see this.
Same.
I was really shocked. I was like,
Really?
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't follow a lot of Transformers, so I was shocked to see it, but it's cool as heck, though.
Look at this. I mean, there's the arc. Look at the scale on this thing.
I will say this. I wasn't surprised to see it. I was surprised at what it turned into.
Oh.
I thought they were going to stay more with the Japanese and have the ship turn into Trypticon.
Gotcha.
But they went with an all-new character named Nemesis, a female counterpoint for the Ark. The Ark was the last Autobot, so to speak.
Oh, okay.
In comics, he was that face and feature was the face of the last Autobot.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So this is the counterpoint to him, but they slendered it down to make it more that, but you can see there's certain parts in like the chest and abdomen which look kind of very similar to Tidal Wave. That made me think that we're trying to really make a larger Tidal Wave to go with, because he's massive over the rest of them.
Gotcha. Yeah, I love. I mean, the way that this looks right here is just. I mean, the scale is absolutely ridiculous, and I love that. I mean, I say that in the best way possible. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Keep in mind, those aren't final colors. It's gonna.
No, I remember that.
Those aren't the colors at all. It's gonna be just a much deeper shade of purple. But this is like the second run prototype because they wanted to rush it out before it got spoiled in Korea.
Yeah, because I remember. Where's the? Okay, so I know on that back fin, he was saying that the shade of purple they have on one of the fins is much more similar to what the whole thing will look like.
Yeah. Each color it's on there is kind of like a different type of plastic, so to speak. They're trying to see what holds the best.
Okay, makes sense. And then finally, what would any of these fan first be without pipelines?
Yeah. Okay, Braun.
We got Braun and Cliff Jumper from the DS game, which I told you.
The Braun is 86.
Braun's 86. Cliff Jumper is from the DS game. Yes.
Yes.
Now I feel that they've mentioned Braun before in the pipeline.
He was a name reveal. They when they first started doing the coming through the portal stuff, the space bridge, they go, we got images and then we got names. They tried following the G.I. Joe format.
Gotcha. Okay, so Braun, I do like that Braun. I think it looks great.
I can't wait for that.
Yeah, I know. I'll probably get Braun.
I
I'm
like Chip said,
86 on it.
Yeah, I like how Chip's like, yeah, I'll get it.
Yeah, I'll get it.
Like,
Yeah.
It's an 86, so I gotta get it. But it's a really cool thing they've been doing is taking the mini bots and making them a larger size to a deluxe size.
Yeah.
So it gives you a lot more playability with them. You don't have to worry about them being 2 inches tall and breaking in half.
Yeah.
I like what he said, playability there.
Cliff Jumper, I'll probably pass on.
You sure you can use your rock voice with them?
Yes, baby.
My rock voice.
Yeah, you can lift your eyebrow too.
No.
It's the Rock did the voice for him for Cliff Jumper on.
Did he really?
Yeah, especially in Prime, but he also did some of the side stuff.
I did not know that. I guess that's when he had a manageable ego. Interesting. And then finally, Rhinox, which looks awesome, and then Optimus Prime, which actually might be the first Prime I get in a while.
Well, Rhinox, awesome. Prime, it's in the buzzworthy Bumblebee line. It's only at Target.
Target.
Now, how big is that Prime going to be, though? You had me, Eric, and then you lost me. I was like,
Without seeing it, I don't know. It's probably gonna be a similar size as the last one. It's very similar, so it's probably just it's more or less going to be a retool of the last one that came out.
Well, no, hold on. Let me ask you. When you say the Bumblebee line, do you mean the Bumblebee movie or the cartoon?
Buzzworthy Bumblebee.
I think that's the cartoon.
There's a subline called Buzzworthy Bumblebee that's exclusive to Target.
Damn it! Got my hopes up.
They only had one figure so far crossover with 86, and that was the Cliff Jumper.
Gotcha. Well, that ruined my night. Thanks, Eric.
Thanks, Eric.
That's just fun.
Thanks, man. The Rhinox looks awesome, though, and I'm shocked that I'm actually not shocked. We have Beast Wars coming out in 2 months, so
yeah, they got all kind of Beast Wars stuff.
Yeah, so we're gonna get a bunch. Yeah, that Rhinox does look amazing.
I mean, it's a great image. Let's just see how it looks like in hands.
Yeah. Well, it's is it Air Razor? The one what's the Falcon that's coming out in Beast Wars?
Air Razor.
Air Razor, yeah. I found my the one that Hasbro gave me, and then I went back looked, and they both look really good. I'm not gonna lie. So I'm pretty sure, and if they mess up Rhinox, like that's actually really one of the coolest like Beast Wars figures they've got. If they mess that up, I'm really disappointed.
Well, they've done three or four Rhinoxes in the last 20 years. So the last one was basically a redo of the last one. So maybe this will be the third one.
Okay.
But I've been really underwhelmed with all the current movie stuff coming out.
Yeah.
I feel like it shouldn't be put in studio line yet. It should be having its own line. And then taking time to really kind of polish it up because they've had all this time to do it.
Yeah, I agree.
Some of the stuff just looks kind of rough. Like it should, like studio series should be the top shelf. This is what you have to get past so much stuff.
You know,
And
I would agree with you on that because some of the pseudo series, again, I've seen, I'm like, man, what is this? You know, as someone that doesn't, dive into the line near as much as you do, it doesn't grab someone like me and go, ooh, I want this. And that's what, Hasbro wants is our money. And
yeah,
I agree. If it was more top tier or something, hey, I like the movies. I enjoyed the first couple, and it grabbed me. I would get it, but it just doesn't.
Yeah.
a lot of this, to me, a lot of this stuff looks like it should have been just a regular line. It should be more complex, more aesthetically pleasing than to be on studio. It looks like they're like, oh shoot, we got no place to put it. What the hell? It's from the movie. It can fit in studio. Let's just go with it. That's how I feel like it got handled.
And I mean, honestly, I won't lie. I feel Hasbro, and for certain things, they've been just kind of like let's just do it. Screw it. But all right, before I close up, Chip, you got any last?
Man, I really want to thank y'all, and I want to thank Travis for having me. Dungeons and Dragons is my thing. I love D&D, and it was an honor to be able to sit here and discuss and see and share the reveals with y'all, and I loved it. I'm not on par with Transformers like Professor Orange is, and I did learn a lot here. And hey, thank both of y'all, and I really thank you for having me.
No, Chip, listen, man. It was nice having someone on like you, and Adrian, who both actually knew D&D, because I would have been like just fumbling the ball left and right, but you guys held it down. So next time they do a D&D, Trav and I will be reaching out to definitely you and Adrian to
Thank you.
on. Yeah, because that was
thank you.
Fun.
It was great meeting you, man.
Yeah, it was great meeting you. Right, thank you.
Eric, as always, buddy. It's always fun talking transforming robots with you. Because every time I do a show with you, I learn just a little bit more about Transformers. It makes me want to go back to watch the cartoon just a little bit more.
I'm probably gonna key up 86 while I'm painting miniatures. Every time I want to watch it.
No, that's the fun thing. I don't get to do cool stuff. If I could paint miniatures, I would definitely be doing that.
Oh, I can't. They're horrible. I can't. They're horrible.
Look. We do. Some of the guys do Terra Joe, and we have some really great modifiers on the show. KJ, aka Black Genghis, Tony Romo, they do some amazing work. And I've done 2 mods with my Master of the Universe line, and the patience you have to have, dude. I've seen the miniature. I've seen this. I'm like, nope. That it's like, in theory, that sounds fun.
I struggled to get my straw in the drink.
Okay, there you go. There you go. Yeah. I mean, again, it's like seeing some of the guys and some of the stuff they do. It's just wow. I mean, it really is. And I'm just doing this just to have some miniatures to play with. Yeah. I ain't got to spend a couple hours painting miniatures. They're hideous. There's no way going to win well, they might win the worst miniature ever painted contest, but
that's cool.
Yeah, cool. At least it's something. But some of these guys, if we're talking about customizers and these guys that paint, just they wow me with some of the YouTube videos and some of the things I've seen. I'm like, wow.
And they always make it sound so easy. I just do this and this, and I'm like, oh, that's all right. I'm good.
Like he said, struggling to get your straw in, struggle to pee and stand up. Okay.
Next episode will be Travis, and I know it's gonna be Travis, Dreadnought, Ryan, and a few others. We'll be covering WrestleMania and the wrestling toys coming out soon. Which, if you haven't seen WrestleMania from last week, it actually was a lot of fun. Both nights were really good.
My wife's the wrestling fan. She's watching AEW right now. I watch some wrestling, but she's a bigger Memphis area. She's a way bigger Memphis. She's a huge wrestling fan.
That makes so much sense. I'm actually working my way through night 1, night 2. So real quick before we go, night 2. I don't know why I didn't watch night 1. but I was house sitting, and my aunt and uncle have this like 85-inch TV. So like, you know what? Oh, you know what it was? I was watching Lord of the Rings. I was watching the trilogy on 85 inches. So that was fun. But then I'm like, you know what? Let me just watch night 2, and I got like really into it. Like, I forgot I liked wrestling. All right. So that would be episode 118, or yeah. All right. So for Chip, man, thank you so much for coming on the show. Last second, Eric, as always, buddy, I appreciate it. And as always, I'm your host, or for tonight, the host, Bobby Bear. Yes, Eric. 1 second,
guys. For all the Joe fans, check your accounts. That new wave hit last night. I got nailed with 6 figures last night. So
which one's that? The Falcon?
Let me look at it. Barbecue.
The Bad Falcon, barbecue, Cover Girl, all that stuff. That all hit me at 1 o'clock this morning.
Yeah, I've already got them.
Really?
I ordered them from CMD.
Cool.
Me and a buddy here local split, so we split shipping, so it's not really too bad.
That's not bad. I got Cover Girl came in yesterday. I'll be doing an unboxing of her tomorrow. And barbecue on Pulse. Pulse hit last night, yeah, because barbecue hit me last night. I was like, oh, gotta fix
Crimson
that.
Bats. I think I got 2 Crimson Bats ordered from Hasbro Pulse. I don't think they've hit yet.
The only thing that didn't hit for me was the bazooka, the regular bazooka.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Really?
That's the only thing that didn't hit, and I think they're trying to do a paint job adjust to it, because I guess when you bend them, unlike the Tiger Force, the 14 stays the same. On here, they didn't paint all the way.
So I thought that was only in Europe that bazooka was already hitting.
No, he's already everywhere else but here.
Okay.
So it's.
I'll be looking forward to it. I know Serpentor came out today for a couple hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was re-released again today.
Whatever happened to that whole, it's a limited, we're not going to do one. And all of a sudden, like every couple of weeks, we got a few more.
Yeah. Well, they hadn't done that with Zartan. Sorry, we're jumping on a Joe stream.
Well, we have to beat Travis to the punch.
We have exactly. I'm glad you're like we beat Travis to something. Perfect.
Yes.
All right, gentlemen. As always, look, I'm your coach, Bobby Bear. We will see you in the toy aisle. As always, be nice. Peace.
Peace.
Y'all have a good.